What's up? We got Arrow, Season 4, Episode 19, Canary Cry. So this episode starts off at Tommy's funeral because the show, and Laurel gives a eulogy. So then after we flash back to present time where Quentin's so in shock that Laurel died, he's just like, it can't be. And then we see some girl walk by and it's just like, who's this girl? She plays a bigger part in the episode later. But right now, it's like, who is this random girl walking by Oliver and gang? So he's like, and Quentin, okay, it's his father, and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the Arrow Writers are very terrible. Bam, because I don't get this. The doctor's like, Laurel, you're gonna be fine. But then a minute later, they're like, yeah, she's dead now. So, but anyway, Quentin's like, Laurel, come on. So then we see a blonde vigilante, dressed up as a Black Canary, using a sonic device to take out criminals. And this basically makes Quentin think, oh, Laurel isn't dead. She's still alive. But then Oliver has to be like, yo, Quentin, Laurel's body's still in the morgue. But Quentin's like, yeah, okay, next plan, to find out how to bring her back. Yeah, that's basically Quentin's plan. He asks Nissa's help, but Nissa's like, oh, I'm sorry. I may have liked your daughter as a friend, but I didn't I destroyed the pit months ago. So he's like, there must be another way to bring her back, and I'll find out that way. So, yeah, so she's like, Oliver, Quentin's a bit in denial. Will you please help him? So he's like, Quentin, we lost Laurel. And she's like, we lost her. And he's like, you have no idea how it feels to lose a child. And he's like, I've lost a mom and a dad and Laurel. But guess what? Oliver forgets about Tommy. Because he's like, he lost Moira. He lost Robert. He lost Laurel. But I guess Tommy doesn't matter to him anymore because he's like, he forgets about him completely. He forgets that he lost Tommy too. He doesn't even say that. He's like, I lost Laurel. I lost my mom. He lost Robert. He lost Moira. He even lost Laurel. But who cares about Tommy? This show completely forgot about him. Yeah, that's basically how we feel. The show basically forgot about Tommy as a character. Because it's just like, why not? What about Tommy? So Diggle blames himself and Fussy's like, hey, I wasn't there. And he's like, hey, I didn't listen to Oliver. I gave him the biggest crap you, Oliver, and I basically let him go, and I basically let Andy back into his life, and Andy betrayed him. So as Thea and her forced relationship with Alex still continue, the Black Canary attacks them, saying, Alex Davis, you work for them. But then Fussy's like, Thea's like, hand off my forced relationship with my boyfriend. And yeah, this relationship's so forced. And then she takes off the mask and she canary screams and she canary cries and throws her back. But then Oliver's like, hey, yo, you're Black Canary. You're not Black Canary. She's like, you failed this. You left us there to die in Reddington. And he's like, Reddington? And she's like, you failed this. You guys failed the city, and just leaves. So, Reddington. So Reddington was the place that Dark had. Oliver reveals that Reddington, as we already know, that Reddington was. He's like, hey, she was talking about Reddington. And they're like, Reddington, and he's like, Reddington was the place. Was the place that they got all put into the gas chamber. Remember that? Remember that episode? So she's like, hey, Quentin. So Quentin only. So the sonic device that Laurel used is missing. The canary cry device is missing, and he's like, why'd they call it the sonic device? It's canary cry device. And he's like, yeah. So he's like, hey, and they're like, hey, the Sharps, Evelyn Sharp, the family the mom and dad died on Christmas, but they're escaped, and that means Evelyn Sharp is our Black Canary. And they're like, this Evelyn shot her. So Diggle decides to go after. We get more Oliver and Laurel flashback scenes to after Tommy's funeral, but I skip them because it makes me miss Laurel even more. You're really trying to make me miss Laurel. You kill Laurel off, and then you show Laurel scenes before Laurel was the Black Canary, before season 2. It's just like, come on, show. You're really trying to ruin yourself. So yeah. So after Oliver and Felicity they're like, she's like, hey, Diggle's gone and Lyle has no idea where he is. So Diggle does his best Batman impression where he's like, get out of the car. And she's like, do you know who she is? And he's like, I don't care. I want to know what Angie Diggle is. Very, very good with Batman impression, Diggle. Every time Diggle's angry, he does a very good Batman impression. His covering his voice is his Batman version. And he's like, get out of the car. And he's like, I don't care. And he's like, tell your husband have a message for me. And then Oliver's like, hey, back away, Diggle. And she's like, hey. And he's like, what do you think you're doing? And he's like, what do you think you're doing? And he's like, going after Dark White. And he's like, it doesn't care if he's Dark White. She's the mayor. She is the media. She is the police. She is everything. And Diggle's like, I don't care. I'm just so mad. Diggle, stop doing your best Batman impression. Every character does the best Batman. And he's like, do you know, Laurel's gone and it's my fault. And Laurel's like, and he's like, if Laurel's gone, but if she were here, she would tell you, don't forget who you are. So yeah, my best Diggle impression. Yeah, remember Diggle didn't sound like Batman, or remember any character didn't sound like they were ripping off the Dark Knight? I don't want hockey back. Are you talking about hockey? Yes. Okay, so anyway, back to the show, back from Batman voices. So yeah, so everyone basically thinks that Laurel was at the prison riot and was killed that way because they don't know she's the Black Canary. There's like, oh, Laurel decided randomly to show up at a prison riot and get killed by Damien Dark. Huh? If Laurel wasn't, why would Laurel be at a prison riot? We know she's the Black Canary, but people don't know. So she's prosecuting Damien Dark, and she's at a prison riot, and she gets killed. Wouldn't Laurel be just, if Laurel wasn't the Black Canary, she would have made the smart decision, and she would have just left. The show is dumb. It doesn't realize that if Laurel was at a prison riot, if she wasn't the Black Canary, she would just left. She would have been like, this is a prison riot. I don't think I can do this. And just leaves. I know she's a professional, but she would let the Green Arrow and the team handle it. Because the show is dumb. But anyway, they're like, hey, Laurel was attacked by the Black Canary attacked. The Black Canary attacked, one of the vigilantes attacked her. The Black Canary attacked Alex, even though Alex is suspecting that Alex is evil. Because, yeah, don't like the guy, so he's probably the villain. And he's like, and yeah, so we're going to tell the cops to issue a warrant on these so-called vigilantes. And they're like, hey, they just threw Laurel's name into the mud and they're destroying it. And he's like, yeah, so she attacks him. So she decides to, yeah, but then Oliver's a cop. She's like, hey, you there? And Oliver's just like, and knocks him out with something. He's like, I'm going in. So then she's like, hey, Laurel, hey, you're destroying Laurel Lance's memory. You really think Laurel would want you to do this? And she's like, I saw her there. And he's like, yeah. But then she stops herself and goes, and they're like, hey, Evelyn destroyed Laurel's memory. And he's like, hey, she's just a teenager. She didn't mean to. She's like, she destroyed Laurel's memory. She's throwing it to the mud. So So yeah, but then so yeah, so over so yeah. So then we see Laurel's funeral finally, where Dinah decides to make an appearance, telling Quentin about how Laurel could come back, and Oliver's like, and Quentin's like, I don't think she's coming back. She's like, but Sarah came back to us, but he's like, yeah. So Oliver gives a eulogy about Laurel and about how Laurel was there and about how and reveals to everyone at that funeral home that Laurel is the Black Canary, and Dinah can just do this. Like, that's her face. Her face is like, it's like that's her face. Like, do a better face when you find out that your daughter was a secret vigilante superhero the entire time. Your face is just like come with a better face. Make a better shocked face. But yeah. And then they reveal that they have the Black Canary name on Laurel's gravestone. And then so then Barry shows up because they have to connect all this piece together. And Barry has his speed back, even though by the time of this episode's airing, Barry didn't have his speed back because he still lost it thanks to Zoom. But yeah. But when does this take place? When does this whole thing take place? So anyway, so she's like, Oliver, you gotta kill Damien Dark. And he's like, his magic is too strong. She's like, Oliver, I've known you. I've loved you for like so many years. I know that you cannot do this. I know that this isn't you. Just give up. Do it for Laurel. Do it for the city. And that's basically the episode. This episode, I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't care about the flashback scenes of Laurel and Oliver after Tommy's funeral and Oliver leaving Laurel to go back to Lee and you, which we saw in season 2, episode 1. I didn't care because it's just like the show's already gone downhill. If they're trying to make you miss Laurel by showing you scenes during season 2, are they really trying to gain your nostalgia for season 2? No, because they don't care. They're just trying to bring. They just want because this episode doesn't suck as the last episode did. It's just not that good. Quentin is it was cool in Team Nissa. That was interesting. But yeah, Diggle's Batman was really weird. I didn't get him. He just speak Batman the entire episode. But yeah, that's the episode. It was good. It was weird. It was just, I just feel like Arrow isn't as great as it once was. I feel like killing Laurel off really, and does the entire press now know that Laurel Lance is the Black Canary? And even Evelyn showed up at the end because, she just decides to show up at Laurel's funeral. So, that's the episode. I hope I see you next time for some more Arrow as we honor the great Black Canary, Laurel Lance. Because even though this episode was pretty bad, pretty okay, it wasn't that great, it wasn't that good, we will honor the Black Canary every single day by being the best people that we can be. Remember that. The Black Canary taught you how to be tough. The Black Canary taught you how to do stuff. The Black Canary taught you. The Black Canary taught us lessons. And now that she's gone, we gotta move on. That's what the Black Canary taught us to do. So anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for some more Arrow. That's my best Black Canary pose. We'll miss you, Black Canary. Bye-bye, Laurel. Hope you have fun in the afterlife. Because we miss you. I'll see you next time for more Arrow.